Good morning, people. Good morning. Sorry for being late. About 2 minutes over. Sorry about that. We're just doing some stuff behind the scenes here, trying to get set up for this morning. So thanks for being here. Sorry for being late. Who do we have in the chat already? I'm seeing Midnight Wolf first. Love it, man. Thanks for being here. Shrimp Father's here. We got Keela. Aaron, Penguin Makers. Hi again. Mike V, Captain Kern, Projects and Dad's Garage is here. Kittrell's here. Nice. Happy? Happy I got something for you today. You might recognize this. Hoyt's here and Mike, Cybertech. Good morning, folks. All right. You am no there, nor am I here. All right. Yeah, so Happy, you guys don't know, Happy made this for me. It's, I think 4mm carbon fiber. It's an extruder plate that we're going to use on this project today. And I think we broke 3 or 4 or 9 bits trying to make this thing. And it wasn't fun. So I think Happy and I both learned a lesson just to outsource this kind of stuff to the pros. Oh, hey, Aaron. You spoke with me yesterday? Oh, yeah, safe. Okay. Yeah, the name. Different. Yeah, thanks for being here. If this is your first time, welcome. We like to have fun on stream. Boothie made it. All right. Afternoon all from the Token Brit. Nice. All right, so because I was late, I think we should jump right into it. You hate fun? I hate fun too. You're leaving. See you. No, it should be pretty good. We're gonna take a look at this older printer that I have here. This is a machine that I bought back in, man, like 2021 or something like that. And it's right sort of before I got into the Voron space quite heavily, and so I built it, printed on it a few times, and then just kind of put it to the side to do other things and stuff. And I never really came back around to using it full time. In the meantime, it just kind of sat, which meant that all of the things went out of date on it. I can't even get it to boot into Klipper right now because the firmware on the board is not matching. And so I need to reflash the board just to even turn it on. So I think that's where we start. Tube time. If I had another tube, Aaron, you kind of missed it, man. We did a rat rig build where there are 2 tubes in there because it's an IDEX. I have an LH Stinger with a tube in it. And yeah, so that's 4 tubes. Actually 3 tubes. And then I have another one down here for a different project. So I've got 4 tubes, which that's an entire printer on its own, just in 4 tubes. I don't know that I would sacrifice a tube for this. Maybe if there's a smaller version, I think a Rapido would do great in this, but I would need to redesign the hot end. So we'll take a look at what that looks like. Sounds like your setup's mostly tubes. If I could, I would. This one, I think it's a little overkill. It's only a 200mm build volume. And since we're kind of already getting to the topic, I think we should just flip over there and talk about the project a little bit and talk about the printer a little bit, all right? So I'll take you over to what it looks like right now. This is it. So even comes with the dust of neglect on the top of it. So this has been through a move from Oklahoma to here. And if you were to buy this kit and build it verbatim on what they want you to do with the manual, this is what you would end up with. So this is these are all polycarbonate panels. Good morning, Kegel. That's a meme. Yeah, maybe. So this is a 200 by 200mm bed. You got a 200mm build height. There's a BMG full size back here as the extruder, and it's mounted to a carbon fiber plate. And then there's a carbon fiber carriage that mounts to the rail. What else? It runs a Volcano, a V6 Volcano. So that's pretty old school. And this is a 4020 cooling fan that's just kind of split duct down. So not the best. It also uses a Pinda style probe back here, and it's 3-point bed leveling with belted Z. The Z belts are 9mm belts, and we'll flip it over and take a look at the electronics and stuff too. But it's definitely different from a lot of other builds, but it's also very, I'll say, classic in a way, because no one uses a V6 for most anything anymore. Original cost was about $900, Aaron. The frame is really the difference here. So the frame is a bent stainless steel frame. So everything is flat cut and then bent at the factory and shipped. So you put the frame together very differently than almost any other project that I've seen. And that makes it rather unique. The motors here are in the front. This is for X and Y. It is a Core XY, and it's running 9mm belts on X and Y as well. So a very, very beefy little guy, and all the panels are magnetic. So it's got these little clips to hold them together, but they are still magnetic in the long run. So as we take these apart, because we're going to need to get in here and get closer looks and stuff like that, I'll go ahead and take these off. My printer's dusty and neglected. Call now. Yeah, Midnight Wolf, it's just a matter of too many printers, too little time, and so some sit for a very long time before they get used again. So this one, it's just got a magnetic top hat on it. The side panels are the same, so these here, they're also magnetic. If I remove the clips, you'll be able to see this. So I rather like it. It's got this silicone stripping here that serves as a like a seal. Put that over here. And the only one that doesn't magnetically attach is this this front panel, the door, because of the hinges here kind of go all the way through. So we're not going to be able to take that off of there. But you know, you can get all the way in and through now. So yeah, it's all kinematic. It uses balls here, balls and screws, to be able to get a 3-point bed level. And then it has a chamber heater down below. So this one, if I lift this up a touch here, you'll be able to see it. It does have this chamber heater down here. Since the project release, this was the beta version of the printer itself. Since the project release, this was redone, so I need to update that. The power supply cover back here is a little bit different, so that needs a new printed part. I've got that printed, I believe. We've got a box of parts back here that I've been waiting to install. So not really like an overhaul of the printer, just a little bit of a refresh, a little bit of an update, and then we'll go from there. So on the carriage here, I believe this is a 12C linear rail, and there's some dust in there. The 12C linear rail, it's got the magnetic flex plate, and the bed fully comes off if you need it to. So we can really kind of get in here and see what's going on. Be dusting off the Ender 3 V2 for updates very soon. Nice. What do you plan on updating, Midnight Wolf? So what I'm going to do on this one today is probably remove this. I do have behind me just a little bit of a smaller update. So this is a V6 with a PTC heater. So this will be sort of like a Revo without the hot swappable nozzles. So just the V6. This is from Triangle Lab, and it's got this ceramic round heater on it. That's a nice quality of life. I don't know if you guys have been in 3D printing long enough to remember having to hot tighten your nozzles as you're holding the heater block. So it's like a two-handed operation to get everything tight so it doesn't leak. That's one of the challenges with something like this and using the old style Volcano, is that it gets a little fiddly trying to do all of that. This makes it a nicer, very linear upgrade where you take one out, put a new one in, and then we press go on that. Which I think is stage 1. Stage 2, we swap out the mounting plate for the BMG, which is again a full-size BMG, so a lot of mass there, with this plate, which holds an orbiter. So the orbiter motor comes out the back side of this. That's why there's this one here. And then on the front, I think I've got the part. Here we go. I modified the LH Stinger hot end to be able to mount to the plate. Orbiter goes on top, kind of sticks out through the back here. And it takes two 50-15 fans, and we can add a Dragon or Rapido to the top of this. So I remixed that part to be able to fit on there. This plate is a 1-for-1 swap with the one that's on there, and should be a nice little upgrade. I don't have a spare Orbiter 2 to add to this, so I'm still waiting for that to come in. I'm hoping that happens sometime this week, and we can make that swap. So this will be probably stage 2. I think stage 1, we just take a look at the machine overall, maybe do a little bit of cleaning up on the electronics, and then swap out this hot end for something a little more quality of life better here. And I want to say I put a, let me see, I think I put a CHT Volcano clone in here. So back when you could find clones on the internet, I think this is a CHT Volcano clone. It is not. So this is a standard Volcano 4. Let's put that back where it was. And we have an older one in here that I threw in this bag for some reason. But I do have a Volcano nozzle for it that is a CHT style. What did I do with that? We'll throw that in there and see how she goes. All right. So that's kind of the overview of what we're going to do. I don't want to change it too much because I don't want to turn this into a weeks-long rebuild project that I end up waiting on parts for and stuff like that, okay? Let me turn off. All right, so that is the project there. It'll probably be a nice quality of life item to add a quick disconnect on the heater bed, and that'll allow me not to have this like rolling around. You can really tell that this is definitely an old school style of a build. You've got a thermal fuse here that's just kind of Kapton taped and RTV sealed to the bottom of the plate. So if it does run away or get too hot, that's going to blow and kill the circuit. So probably worth a little bit of an update on the heater here. Just something a little more safe, like a Canovo or something with a built-in thermistor like that. Also, these metal things here just kind of, they're carrying mains wire and they just stick out the bottom. Hey, good morning, Red. I need to come see you soon, buddy. I think I'm gonna be up that way in the next couple of weeks, so I may end up stopping by and saying hello for a little bit. Birdman, this is called the Seckit SKCube. It's a 200 by 200 by 200 millimeter printer. Very old school in the design, and old school means in this context like 5 years ago or something. But I'll show you the web page here for folks that want to find more information on it. Send you a DM. I surely will, sir. And we'll take a look at this web page really quick to answer maybe some of the questions that you all have. This is the assembly manual for it, and it kind of goes through the build itself. If you want to find it, you can go to any of these web pages here. This is the one that you can get the printer with. It feels dated and modern. It does, right, Aaron? It's kind of a mix of both. It's a little strange in that it's, I don't know, it's a little bit of old school mixed with a little bit of new school. So it's, I don't know, it's not for everybody. Again, I bought this printer 3+ years ago, back in 2021. So back then we didn't have as much tech, and you know, Bamboo Lab wasn't a thing, and Voron was just really starting to come into its own and become like the printer to get when this one came out. So before that, you got to realize we were all using Ender 3s and Ender 5s and trying to mod the hell out of those and make them good. This one came out and it just kind of got buried by, you know, 2020 extrusion framed box printers. Fresh Klipper, few updates. Yeah, I'm with you, Control. And that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to update Klipper on it and, you know, a couple little quality of life things, and we'll press forward. But looking at the page, this is what it is here. So this is the company. It's called Seckit. It's supposed to be your second Core XY printer kit. It is definitely different from what you can see. So you see it launched in April of 2021. That's when I got this machine as well, is in April of 2021. So it's already 4 years old as far as a printer. Not a lot of updates between then and now. A couple little quality of life tweaks, a couple STL tweaks, but largely it's the same. They do make a larger one. This is the kit that I got. It's the SKCube full kit. And if you come over to the configurator, you get to choose a lot of what you want. So I chose to go with the high wind linear rail blocks. So I got this kit here with nice rails on it. I did end up getting the Octopus. At the time, it's an Octopus normal. The Pro didn't exist. So this is an update here to the 429 Pro, which allows you to run up to 48 volt if you would like to. Or you can do this Mellow Fly version and kind of do the same thing. Mellow Fly is a little different in the way that it works. Octopus is a little more normal for what we do on Klipper. Or you could self-source something. So that's pretty cool to have some choice in how you want to build your kit. Right now, let's make it as cheap as possible. If we just get regular Chinese rails. Hey, Stone 3D. Hey, thanks, buddy. Nathan, I appreciate you. Yeah, last week my mouth hurt a lot. I guess we should talk about that a little bit. I went in and had a little bit of a jaw surgery. It's something I've been going through for the last 3 years to try to get implants and fix some damage I had in my mouth. Essentially, I was losing bone in my lower jaw, and so I was in danger if I took a spill or a hard hit, I could kind of break my jaw. So we had to do some buildup with bone, and then we had to do some implants to hold things together. And then 2 weeks ago, I went in for a quick little surgery to do that implant portion. And I got a few extra cuts I didn't expect to get. So it took me about 4 or 5 days to really get through a lot of that ache and pain. It just felt like a toothache all day, all the time on both sides of my mouth. And I didn't really feel like talking. I wasn't in the mood to entertain or anything like that. And so we bypassed the stream, but I feel much better now. We're here today and we're looking at some old school stuff. Aaron Fried. Yeah, a lot of people haven't seen this printer. That's another reason I wanted to bring it out and show it off. I'm a collector of niche kind of things I like, interesting and different. And this is definitely one of those. Surprise, Second and still in business. Aaron, I don't know if they are or not. I know the webpage is still up. I know that, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. I'm so terrible right now with names. Man. Either way, he and I have been in contact on email as soon as May of this year, I believe. And he was working on a new hot end. So I got a few of those and I haven't used them yet. Honestly, I don't know where I put them. I hope I didn't just toss them without thinking about it. But I've got a different hot end that we were testing or whatever. And I haven't gotten around to it and I feel terrible. Either way, it seems like you could still order it. It may be a very manual process and things like that. I don't know how smooth that's going to go, but if you're interested, I would try it out. Said it looks like a tank and they have a model that's called the tank. Yeah, it's called the tank for a reason. This printer, because it's stainless steel bent like frame, it's like a 50-pound printer, but it's the size of a Micron 180. But okay, so if you got regular rails, and when I say regular, I mean like CNA or one of the knockoff style rails, you could do that. If you could self-source a board, if you self-source your own motors, self-source your own Raspberry Pi, So basically you're just getting a frame and maybe some panels if you wanted panels. I would recommend you get the build plate just to make it easy on yourself, and then get the enclosure so things are already good to go. It comes with 3mm polycarbonate sheets, and you get the sealing strips and the HEPA filter and stuff like that. And then depending on what country you send it to, let's say the US, you're going to get a different power supply. And then shipping's about $166 to the US. So all in, you're looking roughly, I don't know, $1,000, $1,050. Let's see, let's summarize and check out. Yeah, so about 1029 USD. So quite a lot for what it is. You could build something similar out of extrusion for less, absolutely. But you're not getting that full sheet metal enclosure, or sorry, the full sheet metal frame. All right, so that's the trade-off. It all depends on what you want. It's your money, spend it how you want. For me, it was less than that. Again, I was one of the beta guys, and so I was able to get mine for less than that. But there we go. Thanks for the sub, John. Good morning. Stopping by for a few minutes. Appreciate you being here. Do me a favor, like this stream if you feel like this brings you value and it's interesting. Is the new hot end has working on for high temp materials? I want to say the new hot end can go up to 350 comfortably, maybe more than that. I'm not exactly sure. Thanks, John. I don't have the details on the top of my head. I'd have to go back and review, but it is a very large hot end. I'll just say that. It's very large. You would have to, anything that you put it in would need to be a large machine, so 350 plus. It would be great for a 500mm rat rig or a 350 Voron or any large size machine like that. Elegoo, Orange Storm, Giga comes to mind. Something very large with a large nozzle. That's where I would put it. But this is what the hot end looks like without the shroud on it. You can see very old school, using a BMG on the hot end itself. Even back then, this was a little, I don't know, a little dated when it came out. Normally, you'd see something like this dual drive extruder used in a Bowden system, not as a direct drive like this. So that's a little bit different, but you've got pretty capable motors paired with pretty thick belts on a small build volume. So you weren't really worried about accelerations or anything like that. Have no idea what input shaping looks like on this. That wasn't really a thing, and it didn't really exist at the time this came out. So we were tuning pressure advance manually back then. That's kind of the overview of the machine. And if you really wanted to deck this out, so we're going from 1029 base price to, let's see, let's select all of the things. Let's keep everything in the BTT family. Let's get the BMG. With the enclosure, you're looking at about 1340 plus 185 shipping. So from 1029 to 1525 if you got it fully kitted out with everything, and then still have to build it on your own. So very expensive for what that is. I'm just going to put that out there. I would have a hard time recommending this to someone who wanted to get into it, unless you just were really jazzed about the frame and the build quality and that kind of thing. Okay. So again, more of a show and tell, explore around, see something different kind of thing. Still got to work through all your projects, but love watching all the neat stuff out there. Same. This is just one of 25 different printers that are over there. And I know that this one's a little more niche and different, so I figured we'd talk about it. Yeah, Nathan, see you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully we'll talk soon. I'm very excited to see what you got working back there. So hit me up, man. Let's talk. All right. So getting into it, they want to say this is stuff you need to know. So it just kind of goes over general stuff. Yes, we will. Just go over general stuff about the printer and how to connect it together and what torque sequences to use and all that kind of stuff. It's fun. Talks about the tools. Love reworking older printers, same. So this is going to be some of the basic stuff you need. I have all this stuff. If you build even one printer, you should probably have this kind of stuff. And then you need to print all your parts, like most self-built printers. Going through here, you have to have all of the things up top. Some of the other stuff is optional, like the chamber heater and the carry clamps and the panel clamps. I did not put carry handles on here. I need to design and install those. Never got around to it, never did it, but definitely need to. And then there is a CAD reference for everything, but it's not in one CAD project, if that makes sense. So, for example, if I take you back to the printer itself, you may have a CAD for this printed part, but you're not going to have the assembly as a whole. You're going to have the CAD for the frame, but not the frame with the gantry in there or the bed in there. And so everything is separate, and it was ABS at launch. If you did not get the enclosure, you could use PETG for sure. But once you enclose it, it really does insulate pretty well. So you would need to use ABS. This is all ABS printed parts. I didn't miss anything, Havoc. We're just looking at the SKCube, which is an older printer of mine that we're going to do a little refresh on. We're just taking a look at it right quick, giving everybody a lay of the land and talking about what we're going to do. So that's the front of the machine. That's what it looks like. It does run sort of an umbilical cable style, so this is not CAN bus or anything like that. Again, CAN bus was not widespread back then. Looking at it from the side, let me turn this around. There's a better shot at the chamber heater. This is open, so again, another sort of hazard. Building this kind of thing, I would need a cover over that. The redesign on this electronics box helps out with covering all that stuff, so I need to update that as well. Bottom panel is ACM, so the aluminum with a core material that's plastic. The Y-axis is all steel as well. That's what the rail mounts to with M3 lock nuts. So only some slight adjustments in there, and then you have certain points here either for lighting or for zip ties if you wanted to run some cabling down this side. Never really got around to doing that. Spinning around even more, you can sort of see what the electronics look like here. So again, very old school way of doing things where you just mount stuff to a panel. Very open, not as clean as it probably should be. Some of that is probably me. Other points of that is probably the design itself, but you can see very dated in its appearance. Got big rep rat vibes. It definitely does, especially with this nest of wires. Jank AF. Hey, Aaron, it worked, man. It may be jank, but it worked. Yeah, so that's kind of the machine in a nutshell. Luckily, it came with a cover on this, because that would have been really bad juju. But what I would like to do is... was that chamber heater AC or DC? It's AC. It's a mains heater. Be cool if it was DC. I could just run it off the main board here. Use the bed out port on the Octopus to run it. That'd be cool. Where is the exposed 120 volt wires? I need to turn it over to the bottom, and I'll show you the rest of it here. We're not all the way through it yet. Tingles just a bit. Yeah, you get used to it. Knocks all your fillings out. So yeah, that's that. I want to in the future maybe swap the Octopus out for a Manta. That way I can just collapse all of this into one option. It'd be great if I could get a Leviathan. So Jason, if you're watching, I need a Leviathan. Or if anybody has a line on a used Leviathan that they don't want anymore, hit me up. I would love to put one on here. And then that way it'll allow me to put this Pi on the board itself and just collapse this down into a smaller package. That would be nice. Fun fact, check this out. So I was looking at this yesterday, getting prepped for the stream. This is a Raspberry Pi 3A plus. So that's how old this machine is. A 3A plus Raspberry Pi. So either a Manta or a Leviathan is what I'm looking at to replace this. If we stay with it, I did print this cover here. This is just a, how to explain it? A board that there's a couple standoffs I would put on here. And this just kind of is a beauty cover for all of that. There are tie down points here all the way through. So the idea is all of this cabling would come out through this port here, and I could zip tie it to really route it up and keep it clean and a lot nicer. I've got new braided sleeve for it. And then in this area where the motor drivers come out, there are points for fans. So I could do 3 40mm fans on here and really keep things cool. I do have 2240s that I want to put on it. So these are Big Tree Tech 2240s. The reason I like these is they are capable of up to 36 volts if you want to do that. I do not plan to. The reason I'm using these is because in your Klipper config, if you use a 2240, it will tell you the temperature of the motor driver without any additional coding or anything like that. So this here is what I prefer if you like to keep tabs on your motor temps. Those 3 amps are actually very nice. I agree. Put a backpack on it like the V-Core 4. Yeah, so John, that's a great idea. I need to design something. And then the cool thing is, because this panel is the way that it is, you can drill through it. This is a ACM panel. You could drill through it and mount whatever you want. You're just going to lose a little bit of heat through the holes that you leave behind. So you could definitely do that. Maybe just put like some aluminum tape over the holes to insulate a little bit. But that's a great idea. I'm going to take a note on that. Yeah, that might be a future thing. And then we could just put all 3 of these pieces in one collapsible, nice, neat box and put a cover over it to keep things and stuff out of there. I've already kind of bent this pin out by pressing it up against the wall, and it kind of bent some of these pins here. But those are first world problems. Where it really gets neat is on the bottom. So give me a second to turn this up without dropping the bed all over the place. Okay, so we've got that flip down. I hope you can see that. Try to maneuver the bed inside the printer here without scratching and breaking things. This is where things get different, okay? So you've got the LRS 200 24 volt power supply here. That is because this really just runs the motors and stuff like that. 200 seems to be good enough for that, but you could swap this out for a 350 if you would like. It's the same size. One of the things I did was print this cover to go over the mains, and then you have another one here, SSR for the bed itself. Motors are small. They're NEMA 8s. 3 NEMA 8 motors. I had never seen these motors before installing them on this printer, but they are, what's it called? Man, I forget. It's like the Orbiter. What's it called when you have the 3 gears that spin around the one? Oh man, the word escapes my brain. Direct drive for Z. It is not direct drive. Geared? Not geared. Planetary. Thank you. Planetary gear set. So these are planetary Z motors that are NEMA 8s. Thanks, all you folks. Planetary. Sometimes my public school education doesn't keep up with my brain. Looks like a safety hazard. Yeah, there's a lot going on. It could definitely be cleaned up. This is, again, one of those designs and projects that, 5 years ago when it was probably designed, we were definitely hacking things together. It could definitely be cleaned up now and and put together. And that's one of the longer term things I want to do. There's also not a bottom panel that goes on here. It didn't even come with feet. These are feet that I added on to the holes that happen to be in these brackets. I think it was designed to be that way, but it didn't come with feet, so I had to get feet. I think I stole these feet off of a Ender 5 and put them on here just to not, you know, have metal on surface contact. But safety hazard, I don't know. It looks more unsafe than it actually is. Things are covered, right? At least it's not made of wood. Yeah, at least it's not flammable, right? So these are covered. All of the connections here, this is just a jumper box. Those are all covered. SSRs are covered, and I labeled things. This is a fuse for that bed, a pretty large fuse there that's replaceable and removable. So that keeps things safe as we move forward. The wiring you're seeing here, this kind of stuff, this is for closed loop stepper motors. The lovely printer. Safety hazard is great content. I'm trying not to be internet famous for being unsafe, I'll tell you that. Just don't spill liquid anywhere near. Yeah, I would recommend not spilling liquid anywhere near a printer, period. Especially not this one. Couple cobwebs in there. You can tell I haven't really used this thing much. But that's it. Other than the wiring being ugly as sin, it's actually not a terrible layout. The main stuff is underneath. Really where we need some protection is on this back portion. Some sort of electronics box here. I love the idea that John put out using the VCore 4 box. I think I'm going to explore that. And I did see a mod where it can be modular, and so you could really tailor it to what you have. And so I might look at that remix and do something with it. Down here, this could probably be cleaned up. This could be replaced with Wagos, although this is actually pretty nice and performs the same. So doing it that way might not be terrible. Probably use some better, longer wiring. Some of the wiring in this area when I built it was a little short. That's why this one is like barely reaching. So maybe we could redo some of that and extend some cables here as well. That way we get a cleaner route and things. But these motors, if you're curious and you want to do this, it is a 3 Z-axis. If you were building like a Micron or maybe something else that is small, like a smaller machine, like a printer for ants that was Z-drive belted, motors like this I think would work great. These are the 28 HS 3306A 4XG. It's a 1.8 0.6 amp NEMA 8. We'll get Grant to do that. What are we saying here? Soak it in gas first. See the meetup in Flint? Oh man, I wish I was close. Oh, fine in the swamp of Murph. Yeah, so this is that's kind of the machine. That's really it. I have not been able to find these motors online at all. I haven't looked super hard, but I was thinking of adapting these to a different project I'm working on, and I wasn't able to find them. So take it for what it's worth. The red portion here, it just kind of clamps around that planetary gear drive and then clamps to the steel frame on all 3 points. And then the shaft is just out with a 9mm belt there. So probably advisable not to really crank down and put a lot of torque on that belt. But it does sound like a Stepper Online code. I couldn't find them on their website though. The brand name I'm seeing is called Sumtor, SUMTOR. And they're all the same, and this is the only one with the label facing out. So yeah, that's about all I can see on it. But these kind of just clamp it on there and hold it by friction, so probably not the best mounting solution, although I haven't had issues with that. And I don't feel any rotation in there, so it's pretty good for what this is. And then you got to be careful not to place too much belt tension on there, or else you could bend that shaft on this very tiny motor, and then you're going to have a hard time trying to replace it. So that's that. I mean, but generally everything else is the same. I mean, today we only use really one SSR for our bed, which is how this is laid out. The other SSR is for that chamber heater. If you don't have the chamber heater, you probably don't need this extra one up here. Haven't you watched the silo? We don't play with relics. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the silo is. But yeah, so I definitely want to clean this up a little bit and take a look at it. See if we can get it working again today. NEMA 8 20 STH 380604 Alpha. Thanks, John. So there you go. John's helping out the community. If you guys are interested in these motors, we can pin John's comment here. Let's see. Hold on. Come back. Oh, it's not allowing me to pin in the one sec. Let's see if we can do this. John, I'm gonna pin your comment in here. There you go. So if you do want those motors, the things at the top. John got the joke. Yeah, I don't get it. Double T, I'm sorry, man. You gave your son an Ender 3 Max yesterday. Hopefully it'll squash his 3D printing habit. No, it's just gonna fuel it, Tech Jeeper. You give a mouse a cookie, and they're gonna want a glass of milk. Should be sending you the CNC parts this week. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. I forget what project we are working on, but if you're gonna send me stuff, I always love it. Have to watch it. Awesome show. Say goodbye to the positron. Yeah, your son's gonna want that positron. Yours is pretty dope, man. Tech Jeeper, I really like the color theme you went with in your positron build. So that's that, folks. I'm gonna start getting into this and seeing what we can do about some of the firmware and maybe some of the other stuff on here. See if we can get it fired up. Oops. And then if we can get that hot end to work, maybe we'll swap it out. All right. Got the bed back in place. And it's still got a little bit of orange filament in it from the last time I used it. I never took that out of there. Probably should. We can just cut that where it needs to be cut. If you notice, like back here, there used to be a Delta printer. I used to have the FL Sun back there. I pulled it out because I knew that I wanted to work on some older stuff. Just kind of refresh that, get that back working. And so I pulled the FL Sun out to work on it and tweak it. And I got about halfway through yesterday and I just got frustrated and gave up. For those that don't know, it's the FL Sun S1, not the Pro version, the first version they had of it. And it had some issues with the firmware and all that kind of stuff. So there's an open source one that was released, and I started working on that. And once I flashed the open source firmware, it worked great. Once I tried to flash the driver boards, because it has closed loop steppers on it, tried to flash the driver boards with older stuff, newer firmware on it, it didn't really take. So I kind of disassembled the printer a little bit and haven't put it back together. So FL Sun's removed over that way a little bit. Hey, good morning, Jeremy. You like the new series? I don't know if it's going to be a series or not. I really don't want it to be a series. But I did want to look at something different and kind of talk through my thought process on updating an older printer. FL Sun kind of effed up on that. They did, Aaron. They definitely did. Had they just released it open source, it would have been fine. They tried to get too fancy, and it bit them because they don't have the expertise on the team to make it nice. Make it a series. Make it a series. Yeah, this is one of those printers that doesn't make financial sense anymore. We were talking about that before you got here. All decked out the way that it is right now. If you wanted to buy this printer today, with boards and heaters and everything included, you're looking at $1,500 for a 200 by 200 by 200 machine. That doesn't really gain you anything over an LDO kit Voron 250. So I don't know if it makes sense in today's dollars to buy something like this, but you can if you want different. So sure, all that's good. All right. Now I know that I could fire this up and I could shell script into the Pi. So I think we do that and see if I can make image. And I'll point out something too. You guys probably haven't seen it yet, but there is no SD port on this Octopus board. So this is an Octopus board that I had that I sort of damaged and I wanted to use it on a project. The way that I damaged it is I tried to, I guess, like, I don't know what I did. I think I dropped it or something, but in this area right here, you'll see that the cover that would normally be there to accept an SD card is kind of missing. And that's because it got broken off. So the way that I have to flash this board now is I have to take this, the original way I did it was I took this SD card and just carefully placed it in the right spot to be able to get it to flash. And that's what we're gonna have to do today. No joke. No joke. That's what we're gonna have to do today. Let me get you back out to where we can see. There, you can see the FL Sun on the bottom left there. I just got it moved out of frame a little bit. Get you back to where you were before I started playing around with the cameras. There we go. That should be a pretty decent shot. DFU mode. Yeah, so it's an original Octopus. There's not a boot button on here, only a reset button. I was looking at that yesterday. I was trying to figure out how to flash it, and I couldn't really understand. Mr. Loudboy. Most don't anymore. We don't do it because it makes financial sense. Make a series of refurbishing older printers. I could definitely do that. Definitely do that. This is an older one. I got a few other older ones over there. I think you hold down reset when powering it on if memory serves. FL Sun is Mr. Loudboy. Yeah. Yeah, I think if Boothy's still here, he calls it my coffin because it came in a box the size of a coffin. No joke. It's the largest cardboard box I think I've seen other than a refrigerator box. So if you had like a mini fridge that was, you know, roughly 5 foot tall, that's the size of the box it came in. And it was huge. Like I couldn't move it myself because normally you'd like get your arms around it and try to lift it and put it where it needs a nuclear bunker. There you go. And try to lift it and put it in place. Not the case with this thing. It literally took me and the wife like lifting this thing and walking it back. It was that large. It really was. I could put this printer we're working on inside of it, literally. It's a big machine. Right now, looking at it, standing next to it, it comes up to about my waist, and I am roughly 5'10", 5'10". So, all right. So going into the flashing process here, I've got MOBA Xterm open in the background. This is the Big Tree Tech wiki. I do have the manual if we need to look at it, but just kind of goes through some of the highlights of the board. We're going to skip all that. This is the original Octopus. So they've updated to a newer version of the regular Octopus, and there's also an Octopus Pro and an Octopus Max these days. And those are probably better options if you're going to do something like this from scratch. But we're going to use what we have. I wish these photos would zoom in a little bit so I can see what's going on. And they kind of don't. So you see there is just like the reset button right there. there's not a boot button anywhere. So I think Projects and Dad's Garage is correct. Once we power on, we got to hold that reset button to put it in DFU mode. I have not played with this board in years, so I'm not quite remembering how to do it. We do have the power jumper on. It says if you do not connect this, then you must provide the board with power. We're going to do that. And then let's see. There's a relay here. If you want to do a relay, touch, power loss, RGB, Raspberry Pi. This is if you want to use UART to control your Pi. So if you did not want to use the USB-C cable, you could connect your Pi to these ports here. Originally, that's what I had. I also had it connected via USB-C, so it had the capability to do both. Still wish it was don't F it up. DFIU. Yeah, that'd be nice. Pro port, sure, we're not using that. We'll use 2240s, which I think I'm going to swap out for. We're going to have to put all these pins in for SPI mode. So we would use this section here. Make sure we add all those jumpers. Cool, fans are going to be what they are. I don't plan on updating that right now. Let's see, communicating with the motherboard. Drivers automatically installed. We doing 48 volt? No, there's not. I could. We do have a mellow. Let's see. I've got a mellow volt up board down here that will take 24 volt and make it 48 volt. And that would definitely fit down below. I don't know that you'll be able to get 2 power supplies in there unless you go to 2 of those USB, very thin power supplies. You could probably get 2 in there, but the way it's set up, it wouldn't accept another power supply. Space is just not there. But if you use the volt up board, it would get you that. The main board is not capable though. This regular Octopus is only good up to 35 volts on the motor drivers, which means 24 volt with some overhead. It's supposed to be a tank, and we'll all know bigger number better printer. Yeah, I didn't break it, Dave. I did not break it. It is older. The firmware is out of date. The main board needs to be updated, and so that's what we're going to work with. We're going to update it and see if we can get it printing as is, and then we'll look at updating some other stuff later. So probably a little bit shorter stream if we can get this stuff going. All right, so copy the firmware, insert the SD card into the motherboard, and reset it. So I think that's what I got to do. I think I'll just yeah, I think my mic died. Forgot to charge it this morning. Let's see, we're gonna just be connected for a little bit then. Hold on one second, guys. My audio back. How about now? I'm seeing it back. Are you guys hearing me? Working on your Voron. Yeah, I got it now. Yeah, so my mic died. That's on me for not charging the thing this morning. I thought I was good. I usually charge it after stream. I just plug it in and come back to it later. and I did not do that. So running a little bit behind this morning, and it died on me. But we'll just stay plugged in and stay close to the machine for a little bit. All clear. Good. Okay. I'm gonna build this firmware. So first things first, we need to power. I'm gonna try the thing that project's in Dad's garage. So I'm gonna hold the reset button, power on. Let's see if that goes to DFU mode. Over here, let me see if I can get you a. Do you guys want to see the instructions on what we're going to work on, or do you want to see the printer itself? Proud of me. Though if I get a serial, we'll have to find something new to tease you about. Dave will never get a serial. I think it's set up against him. It's rigged. It's rigged against Dave. So I know this worked for me yesterday. There we go. Okay. And what I can do is I know that I had like an older version of Kiao sit on here. And it says, let's see, version 6. Do I want to use that? I'm going to say no for now. Man, the lag on this one is atrocious though. Am I going to run Klipper or Calico? I would probably run Calico because that's my preference on every machine, unless there's a reason I can't. So when we built the antithesis on 2 weeks ago stream, we looked at that. I was trying to use Calico, but because I was using a BD sensor as my probe, the two didn't like each other. The only way that I could figure out how to get that probe to sense the bed was by going back to mainline Klipper and then adding in a script that would allow that probe to work. That script did not work with Calico, so otherwise I would have. And I tried for days. I just could not get it to go. But on this one, that's a good point. We can do Calico. Audio's out again? How's that? I'm seeing audio. Is audio not working? For PZ? No, not PZ. BD. Bravo Delta. BD sensor. It's like an Eddy probe, but an Eddy probe on a cable. So you can mount the electronics of the probe elsewhere. Your fault. Your phone was being dumb. That's it. Blame it on the phone. All right, let's see if we can do this now. Okay. So there is that. And to Aaron's point, we're going to do Calico, right? So I'm going to do number 6 here for settings. I know, Jeremy, pro streamer, my ass. Okay, we're going to do... Yeah, so we already have the old school Danger Klipper back when it was Danger Klipper on here. So we'll probably need to update that. All right, so we'll go back here. Just want to throw a wrench. Not throwing a wrench, you're just making everybody frown at you. Everybody hiss at Jeremy. 1.0 used a jumper for DFU mode. I don't know where that jumper goes though. We should probably look at the manual, but stupid Wi-Fi decided to stutter. Yeah, I run into that every once in a while out here too, Aaron. I live out in the desert, and so it gets very, very windy and very, very hot. And so when things, yeah, hiss. Everybody hiss at Jeremy. When it gets really hot out here and really windy out here, sometimes our Wi-Fi gets spotty. I can see it when not the frame rate, but the bit rate starts to drop. Blame ATT. Yeah, so we have Spectrum, which I think is an ATT subsidiary, but I'm not sure. I know it's my only option out here, and it's not fun. I would prefer to have something better. I think under advanced is where we go, and then we can do not that. We're gonna go to settings, number 6. Okay, our repo number 1. We're gonna set a custom repo. That's not... Usually there's an option to select it. You contract work with Spectrum? Well, tell them we need fiber out here, Jeremy. I want fiber in the middle of nowhere. Why is it not allowing me? So in PL, usually there's an option where you can select your custom repo. Right now it has us on a custom repo, but it's not the right one. Let's see if I can update Klipper. Just tell your boss to hook me. Yeah, tell your boss to hook me up. You have to get the fiber to you first, and then oh, you're killing me. Okay, so you can see how out of date we are here. A lot of these things are just not where they need to be. So we're gonna update those. Do I want to proceed? Yes, I do. Boot jumper right under motor 5 above the BQ logo. Oh, I see it. Thanks. Yeah, we could have gone to the manual and probably figured that out. I did not do that yet. But we could definitely do DFU mode if we just do that jumper there. In the meantime, while this is all updating and stuff like that, I think what I'll do is open this manual kind of behind the scenes. What is a boss? Y'all have one of those? Everybody's got a boss, Jeremy. Even if it is your customers, everybody's got a boss. Where are we going? Build manuals. And then Octopus build manual here. I downloaded this manual in 2023. Good luck manual on their GitHub won't load. Yeah, so I downloaded it back in 2023. Probably the last time that I updated this machine. And in the guide, it's talking about it a little bit. Maybe we'll find it. Yeah, they really want you, like even in the manual, they really want you to use the SD card method, which again is an old school way of doing it. Now everything has like a boot and a reset button instead of a jumper like this. Keela is yours. Yeah, that boot jumpers in the manual, I'm not even seeing any mention of that anywhere. It says the Octopus can be powered using the USB-C port by inserting the jumper as shown below. But that's just like the power jumper. And then it says that it's easier to send the stuff directly to the motherboard. But it doesn't specifically call out where that jumper is. So, I don't know. Still getting new stuff. There we go. Hey, Steve. Good morning, sir. We got Micron back on the docket for you today. Is that what's going on? We're looking at an older school machine today. The SKCube. Doing a little bit of updating the firmware. So look at that. So some of these won't update. Let's see. Mobile Raker Companion unable. Okay, so we probably just need to uninstall some of those and then reinstall them. Mainsail also did not update. Let's see where we are. Apply jumper went off, power on, then hit reset to put in DFU mode. Thank you, sir. Yeah, so we got some of these updated here. Mainsail did actually update. Cool, cool. Everything looks to be up to date. So let's see if we can build some new Klipper firmware. Let's see. Settings. It still has the danger Klipper as the repo, though. So if I set this... See 0. Existing. Yeah, so we don't want to do that. I want to remember how to change it, but I don't remember how to do that. Usually it should be in here. I think probably because we're using an older version of Kiao. So if we go to the new version and just allow, would you like to try out version 6? Yes. So we'll try out version 6. I think version 6 is the one that allows you to just kind of in the command line set your repo. Klipper 12, yeah. Yep, that's because we're using Danger Klipper currently. And so now if I go to settings in Kiao using version 6, it'll allow me to use Danger Klipper. I can just copy and paste the GitHub in here, and it'll pull that. Because if you remember, Calico used to be called Danger Klipper. That's how long this has been since I've updated this machine. So we'll run over to the Calico website, pull that down, calico.gg, and we'll go to the Git and follow these instructions down here somewhere using Kiao. So do this and do this. So for users not doing it, Kiao version 6 is using custom stuff. Set it up like this. We just run all of these. All right. So we need to add it in first, it looks like. We'll quit out of here. We'll follow these instructions like they should be followed. And so we'll just move some stuff so I can type here. Am I going to use the danger settings or I'm going to use danger settings. I mean, I feel like if I'm going to use Calico, then I should use the expanded version of it. So I'm probably going to use some of the additional stuff. So the smooth shaper that it allows, probably use the, what's it called? Some of the other features that Calico does. So they have like built-in PA testing and stuff like that. I plan to use as much of that stuff as makes sense on this machine. I know for sure that I'm going to get rid of the closed loop stepper system on here and just use normal stepper stuff. I don't remember what how to say it, what model motors are on X and Y right now. I want to say they're 2 amp motors. But I have extra 2504s, and I may swap those motors out once we get into that. Again, today we're just going to try to get it back running and see how that goes, and then we'll talk about updates on the next installment. All right, so CD to Kiao. Oh no, where'd it go? Trying to figure out how to type the tilde on my keyboard here. Let's see if this does it. All right, so we're there, and then we do CP default Kiao config. So we just copy that one over, and then we're going to do an edit on this config. And so down here is where we can add. I definitely want to back up before I change things. It's always a good practice. And then down here, you can list out your optional repos for Klipper. Okay. And so if we go to the end of this line here, we can copy the Calico line. It's going to be it's so laggy. We're going to have to swap out this Pi as well. Just having a hard time keeping up with what I'm doing here. Come on, baby. Tell you what, I'm just going to copy and paste. Usually I like to type it for the practice, but this is so laggy that a simple click is probably better. But essentially, you kind of follow the steps that you're seeing here. And when you get to back to the menu in Calico, so yes, enter to save. Cool. And so now we'll go back up, and then we can go to here. Pi 3A. Yeah, it's a Pi 3A. So pretty old Pi. Yes, we'll use version 6. And then in here on our settings, we should now see a different version. So under available repos, good morning. Under available repos, we can now see that we have this bleeding edge V2. And so all we got to do is come down to the bottom and select number 2, and it's going to just make a backup of the original. That way, if we need to revert, we can, and then copy in all of the new Calico stuff. If you find that it's working well for you, you can go back and delete that backup to save some space on your Pi. Debating running off some maker chips on the switch wire because you are on board. Oh, you're bored. Got it. I need to make some maker chips. So I want to do the ones that have like the NFC chip inside, so you can scan it with your phone and it'll just take you right to whatever you want it to take you to, or it can import your contacts or whatever the case is. But I want to do one like that, but then also have a QR code on the backside. I do have the H2D, and I plan to run off a full plate of those, but I want to start doing that. I'm really terrible about designing things that I say I'm going to do, and the wife, if it wasn't for her holding me accountable to that stuff, or talking to you all on stream and getting held accountable, I don't know that I would get half of that stuff done. But I definitely need to make a project. Design maker, yes, Mike, I'm the same way. Definitely need to design my chip. Oh, look at that, we got an error. Wonder what's up. Could not resolve the GitHub. Huh. Been following the Prusa Wire a bit on the Positron Discord. Yeah, I think Projects in Dash Garage, that one is really close. I think that one's really close to being done. I've been following it as well and kind of collecting things on the side. I do have the Mark III down there. I've got a ton of extra parts up here, like new thermistors and that kind of stuff to really refresh it. But then when I saw Prusa Wire, it's like, oh, that'd be a great little project to really kind of beef up the machine. So I think we may end up doing that. I don't fully understand why this didn't work. Let's see. Unable to access Calico. I don't understand that. Error cloning the repo. Unknown. Oh, they have 40 hours into the work. Wow. Yeah, I don't have 40 hours to spend on that kind of stuff. I mean, I work about 50 hours a week, anywhere from 50 to 60, depending on the season. And then I do this for 2 to 3 hours on a Sunday, plus whatever prep throughout the week that it requires. Plus I'm working on a master's at the same time. Oh, and I still have to be a husband and a dad and a friend. So I have my fingers in a lot of pies, and I need to be very smart with my time. I don't have 40 hours to spend on a maker chip. You don't have multicolored printers, so no maker chips. At least for now. Aaron, you should get the H2D. If it's in the budget and you have the space for something like that, I've got plenty of time. Yeah, plenty of time. Just sleep when I die, right? I probably do sleep too much. I really prioritize my sleep, and I really try to get 8 hours every night. If I were to cut that down to 4, I could function for like 1 day before I would just need to recover. I don't do well with less sleep these days. So what really happens is trying to time manage the other 16 hours is a thing. You can do it manually. You already have 8 printers. Holy crap. Give me the rundown, Aaron. What 8 printers do you have? List them out for me. I'm super interested. I have 24, I think, ish over here. I would love for it to go down to 8. That would help me out for sure. All right, I'm gonna try to run this off again. I don't know why that didn't go the first time. It could be the Pi. 2.4 300 switch wire Mark III. I think mini means Prusa Mini. Positron, MakerBot clone. So we're up to 6. What? That's a meme. Take a few to help you out. Hey, I appreciate you. An Ender 3, okay. And a Taz 6. That's pretty unique collection. A lot of us that need to go on printer diets. We don't need all. Dave, I'm with you. If there was someone local to me that would be willing to take some of these printers and give them a good home, give them a new life, and actually use them, I would absolutely facilitate that. 2 challenges. Number 1, I'm about 2.5 hours outside of LA, so not really near anything. And then number 2 is still, as much as we all love it, still much of a niche hobby, building and refining and getting these printers going. So not for everyone. Take the micron off my hands. Kitchell, if I see you again and I have the means to bring it around, I'll let you get it. Can be local for a few hours. Have it. Come on. Printer diet. You got Steve over here talking about printer diets. Yeah, Steve and I are collectors of all the finest printers you can find. No, but seriously, I would love to rehome this FL Sun. I would love to rehome the Seckit that we're working on today. I have an LH Stinger over there that I could be convinced to let go. Don't want to, but could be convinced. And let's see, an Ender 6 over there that I could be convinced to go somewhere. Be bringing the Prusa Wire MemeBot E3 to 3D Printopia. Nice. I wish I could go. 3D Printopia is not in the cards for me. The travel is a challenge. I could get the time to do it. I could take the time off work for 3 or 4 days to be able to go. It's the plane tickets from coast to coast and the hotel that are challenging for me. Just going to Remurf, Rocky Mountain this year, that was a stretch to get there. Let's see, what is going on? Let's see. Maybe I should just uninstall and then reinstall. We're getting a lot of different errors. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna uninstall Klipper altogether and then reinstall, because I'm seeing now that it says we're on Calico and we have Moonraker and Mainsail and Klipper screen, even though there's no screen on this printer. It is headless, by the way. I guess you could use like a Big Tree Tech, whatever the little independent display thing they have. I guess you could definitely use one of those. Download my config before deleting Klipper. Aaron, I did that yesterday. Downloaded the config yesterday because I knew we were going to be playing around with stuff. So appreciate that. We've already accomplished that one. Let's see. I think I'm going to number 3. We're gonna do number 1, which is removing Klipper. We'll do everything. Continue. Nice view of my head. Yeah. Yeah, very zoomed in. This camera gets weird. Sometimes it just zooms in on its own without really me doing anything. If I give it a symbol, right? So if I do this, that's what it does. So I don't know if I did that on accident, but it'll zoom in on its own. I don't always notice it right away, so thanks for the heads up. K-Touch, thanks Boothie. That's the name of it. The BTT K-Touch can interface with almost any printer. It just kind of gives you a touch screen. You won't have the full scope of ability that a Klipper screen would. So a lot of the settings that you would tweak, like being able to run a bed leveling or dialing in your Z offset and stuff like that, you're not going to have that on the K-Touch, but you can control printer basics like start a print, stop a print, move the tool head around. You can home it, things like that. But it's not going to be the full gamut of Klipper screen stuff. Your micron's finally working well. Spent yesterday doing some tuning. Nice. Yeah, for me, I want to take... So mine is original. Mine is whatever the initial version of the 180 was. So it's got all of those parts. I know there's an R1 update now. There is a lot of other updates that come with maybe the hardware choices that you put inside of it and stuff like that. So it's definitely been updated over the couple of years that I've had it. And the crazy part is I have those parts printed. I have that hardware in stock. It's literally just making the time to do the project, which, you know, realistically could have been today. We could have started that Micron rebuild project. I don't know if I want to go that in depth with something quite yet. It would be a complete teardown of the printer, a complete rebuild of the parts, and it would be more in depth and take, you know, anywhere from 5 or 6 weeks to get through it on stream. And so I wasn't ready for that quite yet. Looking for a little bit of a easy kill where we take something that's already done and finished, give it a new life, bring it back up to modern standards and see how that works out. Actually, I want to select the correct install here. So Klipper's not installed. Let's see. Let's make sure we get the right repo. Yeah, so it's not available, which is weird. Switch, so it doesn't have anything in here. That is strange. So I feel like I need to run through the steps again on the Calico. Good for monitoring. Yeah, absolutely. It's good for monitoring. Hey, Zims, good morning. We are refreshing a Seckit SKCube this morning. Very much a niche printer that never really got popular, to be honest. But there are a couple of videos out there. I want to say Canuck Creator did a build series on one a few years ago. I had built one maybe a year or two prior to him, but I was not streaming at the time, so I didn't make any content on it. And I can't recall anybody else doing any sort of overview on this or anything. So I thought it would be nice to look at something different. And so that's what we're doing today. Trying to get this guy back to standard. Okay, so this is why it never saved this for some reason. There. We'll come back down to this level. We'll add in our bleeding edge branch of Calico. I like the bleeding edge branch. That gives you the most capability. Teaching Tech did it. Yeah, he did the tank. He did, I think, a 5-part series on the tank and updating. Daniel did some streams. He might have. I think that was the other one who built one. So Canuck Creator and then Modbot also probably did it. I vaguely remember that. But that's the only 2 bits of content that I can find on this machine at all. Maybe there's some other niche stuff out there from smaller folks that don't really pop up in the algorithm, but as far as I know, that is what I've seen. Okay, so I think we'll keep everything else the same. And we will save this one. So Control X. Come on, baby. We definitely need to replace this Pi. Yes, to save. Enter. Okay. And so from there, should be able to go back to home. Just by doing a CD. That takes us back to home. And now we can do our Yao again. I think we'll just stay on version 6 going forward. But it feels like it kind of does. It's not as finished as you would expect it to be. But again, you got to realize in 2021, when this thing was released out of beta, that means it was in design in 2020. That's 5 years ago. This is how we were building printers back then. I mean, some of them were probably nicer. They had an enclosure of some type, and you just kind of, you know, drilled a hole and screwed it to the back. But largely, this is how we're building machines back then. So it's different. It's interesting for sure. You know, looking at it from today's standards, we should definitely do something better because we know better. And when you know better, you should do better. So that's kind of what I want to do. I love John's idea of putting a case around it and just having all the electronics on the back panel combined. I think that'll clean it up really nicely. It'll protect it a lot better. And then add a bottom panel to the bottom of it to keep fingers and stuff from getting in there. That never existed, so I'm going to have to pull out the CAD model for the frame and design something for that. And then if Happy's still around, I'll probably reach out to him to get a bottom panel. Let's see. Let's do settings and switch. Come on. The lag on this thing is atrocious. I don't know that it's valuable to go all the way to a Pi 5 on something like this. I think a Pi 3B Plus, when they updated it to the B, I think that's good enough. There's probably one sitting around somewhere. I want to say this 3A came out of my Minion. I think I took that out of my V Minion. I don't remember. But I've got a 4 laying around somewhere, and I definitely have an older 3B laying around, and I think the B will do just fine. All right, so we're going to use number 2. And we'll see if this actually goes. Add some LEDs, yeah. So anytime you add RGB, that ups the level of the machine. Have you guys seen that new? Oh man, what is it? If you guys remember the name of this thing, shout it out in the chat. But there's a Kickstarter printer where it has it's basically like a larger Ender 3, so maybe like a CR10 size. Because if I remember right, you can go up to a 400 by 400 bed slinger. But it has something like 12 different spools of filament mounted on the frame at the top. And there's RGB around it, around the upright. And they want something like $1,500 for this thing. And it's like, why? Why would I ever do that? And I'm sure there's a few people out there that are going to go for it. And I encourage you to do so if it ticks the boxes for you. I just could not recommend that though. It doesn't seem, man, it doesn't seem something that you're gonna have a good time with. It's always a good time to tinker with printers, no matter how old it is. Correct. One developed by Wanhao. Yeah, it's some random company I've never heard of. But the whole reason for the story is like they added RGB to an Ender 3, put 12 spools of filament on top, and then mounted like an MMU module to the side, and we're like, good to go, new tech, fastest printer ever. Maybe slow down a little bit and take a look at what you're actually getting for your money, and consider something that's a little more proven. LEDs make it print better and faster. Look at that, still failing on us. That's what Grant was saying. Yeah, for me, it's I don't catch Grant as much as I would like to. Again, very, very constrained on the time. And going back and watching hour-long live streams, I don't always get to do that. So I got to be very selective, and I don't get to see everybody all the time. Yeah, what is going on with this? I wonder if the Pi is just too old to be able to do it. So it looks like maybe Python needs to be updated. Can't do live streams, but you're here today. Call him up and ask him. Grant, why do you love the RGB printer so much? Now, I got to talk with Grant for like 2 minutes at Rocky Mountain. Seems like a cool guy. He was very busy. He was going around making a lot of content and filming and stuff, and I didn't see him after that to be able to engage, but just get when he can. Woke up today and just started 5 minutes later. Yeah, this should just be called Coffee and Config. Yeah, it just seems like maybe a Python update or something going on here. There are live streams that you can't do. Yeah. Make it so you can see through the dual smoke panels on the Micron, so at least you know if it's printing. Yeah, I don't know why this is not doing the thing. Tell you what, we're gonna try one more thing, and then we're just gonna go with normal Klipper. That does not work for us. I think we're gonna, yeah, we could try to restart. So sudo reboot now. Yeah, because Klipper is showing incomplete, but kind of there. And do a fresh install. Need to be folding laundry, but also don't want to. That's the cool thing about live streams, though. We can sit here and chat and talk shit, fold laundry, and just kind of lurk. I'm just a talking head on the internet. You got to go fold laundry before you get in trouble? Go do that. I don't want you in trouble. And I'm not drinking. This is bubbly. As much as I would like to be right now, it's still 8:45 in the morning. Okay, so let's try this once again. Just leave it on the floor. Just ball it up and shove it in there. Shove it back into the dresser. That way, it's ready to go. You just pull it out and things expand. Almost folded it on your stream this morning. Yeah, you were early this morning. Like, I was up at 5. I got up a little later. I got up at 5. And you were already streaming. So I logged in to say what's up and check in with you real quick. I don't know what time it was for you, but that seemed like it was really early. But it wouldn't surprise me if there was someone that, like, ASMR folded laundry on stream and, like, I don't know, made noises and whispered into the mic or something like that. There's a lot of interesting things on the internet. All right, so we're gonna go with what Aaron said here and try to force this to go. So we have the repo set. So let's go number 1. We'll set that to number 2. Make sure it pulls in a good clean copy of the Git, and then we'll see if that'll work out. If not, I think I will need to just completely restart with a different Pi or something. Mowing the yard while listening. Look at Kegel being productive. Yeah, normally that's what I do too, as I'm kind of moving around the house, cleaning up the garage or working on the car or whatever. I'll have my Jawbones on and just kind of working on whatever, listening to usually Steve, because Steve streams here in about an hour. And so once I finish up, headphones go on, and I try to participate and listen in to as many folks as possible. I usually catch Lee Marie on Saturdays while I'm working out, so I'm out here doing, you know, heavy ass squats, listening to Keela and Jeremy rant on stream about, I don't know, random stuff. But try to get out there and support as many folks as I can. And for those that make content, I try to watch and like and leave a comment, that kind of stuff. It helps out the community, which makes us all better, I think. The yard has died. Is it getting too hot for you? Yeah, this thing just keeps failing. I don't know. We've restarted. It just can't do it for whatever reason. So we'll try one more thing, and then I'm just going to move on because I don't want to make this stream about failing forward. Let's see. Let's remove Klipper. We're going to take everything out, continue with that, and then we'll restart. U to quit. Sudo reboot. But you too sleepy to come in. Yeah, Dave, by the time you start streaming, I am already on my way passed out. But you guys do Twitch as well, right, Dave? Twitch is difficult for me. I'll tell you why. And this is not a dig at any one channel, including yours. Twitch has too many things going on. Like the I don't even know what you call it, but the things that fall down the screen. I'm excused. The things that fall down the stream, and like the sounds that go off, and how, you know, when people do stuff in the chat, it can override the video. There's a lot that goes on with that. And I don't have whatever the flashing light syndrome is. That doesn't bother me, but it's very distracting for me when all I want to do is hear what you're talking about and see what you're working on. So it's difficult for me to digest that kind of content. But I get it. Like, there's a Twitch audience and there's a not Twitch audience. But I'll try to do better and at least drop in and drop a like, make a comment or two. I don't ask why the yard has died. I was taught not to look a gift horse in the mouth. Almost slept through his own stream last night. Yeah, Projects in Dad's Garage. We have that zero scape. So my entire yard, from the side over here where the garage door is, all the front yard is all zero scape. So it's just kind of, you know, coarse ground sand, basically, with sort of larger river rock type formations around a couple of the bushes and trees. In our backyard, we have basically like a putting green. So it's a bean-shaped patch of grass that we use. Like if you had a pet, you could do that, but we don't. So we'll have the kids go back there, the girls will go back there and touch grass every once in a while. Gotta get your naps in sometime. Dude, it's tough, like keeping up. And Dave, you guys stream multiple times per week. So staying up late multiple times every week, I can imagine that being tough. You would love that? Yeah, it came with the house. I love it right now. But even if we didn't have it, right? So we got folks that come by in the neighborhood and they cut everyone's grass and they edge and trim bushes and trees and all that kind of stuff. It's part of living where I live in this community. All of the yard work is taken care of. All of the maintenance on the house is taken care of. So I really don't have to do anything except not break stuff. Oh, just Saturdays, a lot of other chats. I swear I thought you guys streamed multiple times. But yeah, Saturday's particularly tough because I'm wiped out by Friday. Like I said, 50 to 60 hours a week at work. I just want to like not do stuff Saturday and Sunday. Okay. See if we can install. Come on, baby. Yeah, so it keeps dropping the connection. I think this Pi is probably the issue here. Maybe beach sand in an underground pool. Oh, not underground, in-ground. Yeah, so we have a community pool. We actually have 3 community pools that we can go to. They're open now. One has like a splash pad for kids and stuff like that. Another one has a smaller version of a splash pad, like a little kiddie area with a large pool. And then we have a lap pool that you can lap swim in. They also do swim classes and like water survival courses in there. But that one is open all year long because it's covered and heated. So that one's actually pretty nice as well. Install, yes. Klipper, yes. Yes. Actually, no, we want the other. I almost forgot. We gotta make sure the repo is correct. So here, repo is not available. Yeah. So we need a repo. That repo is going to be number 2 for bleeding edge. And if this goes, we should be able to flash. Otherwise, I'm not exactly sure why it's not working. Maybe we need to update Yow. See, that's the thing. It like just crashes the Pi. Settings. Number 1. Oh, look at that. We've got Aaron as number 2 on the top fan list. So much fun stuff in the Posi Discord. Yeah, so I have a positron. I've taken it to Rocky Mountain this year, and I took it to Vice last year. But mostly I use it to teach STEM classes and 3D print stuff here in my community. So go to the library and teach it over there a couple of times a year. Hey, Mitsubishi Makes, thanks, man. Like the most recent video, by the way. That was kind of cool. Thanks for swinging in. And hopefully you're dropping a like on the stream here. I would love to go to Vice, Steve. You guys moved it to Portland this year, which is great for getting in and out. So plane tickets are pretty more affordable than they were for folks coming from afar going to Reno. But for me, Reno is up the street. So I drove last year. It's just a few hours. Driving to Portland, probably not in the cards. Flying is it's going to be tough. It's like 2 months away from now. I think it's September. So hotel room, flights, it's just a challenging time of year. And on top of that, it's a little bit expensive for where I'm at. So I'm about 50-50 on Vice. Drive up here in caravan with us. Thank you for the invite. I may take you up on that. Let me write that down, and I'll reach out to you after this, and maybe we can set something up. I would love to hang out with you guys and carpool. Take a note on my hand because my notebook is in the house. I'll definitely reach out to you. Maybe we could pick up Reth on the way, and we'll all go. Okay. Switch. Number 2. If this crashes again, I'm going to lose my mind. Yeah, because I think Sacramento area is 5 hours, 6 hours from me. So getting there is a lot easier. Where would we stay, Steve? Are we living in the van? Yeah, road trip, Breath. That would be cool. You get like, imagine this, right? You're if you're like me, you're a fan of 3D printer people and communities and stuff like that, right? Imagine taking a road trip with Steve Builds and Reth. Like, what does that conversation look like? Input shaping and machining for 9 hours all the way to Portland. Wet dream, right? I'm joking. But it's probably a lot of that conversation. I'm excited for it. Yeah, let me reach out to both of you guys and we'll see if we can set something up. Are we there yet? Hey, Robin B. Good morning. Probably RCF2. Okay. Yeah, if we can get Daniel looped into the message, maybe we can just bring tents and sleeping bags and just sleep at the West 3D building. He would come in on Monday and we'd just have like all of his stock built into machines instead of sending out to folks. So it'd be like living at Santa's workshop for a weekend. RCF? Okay. Well, not all fit in one car. Caravan, not carpool. Yeah, yeah. Definitely caravan. Are we driving straight through? How long is it, Steve, from your place to Portland? Because that was the hard part for me. Like, from, you know, SoCal where I'm at up to Portland is something like 17 hours or whatever. Scope creep, we'd have a 12 nozzle printer by Monday. Oh man. Okay, I think this pie is pretty dead, not gonna do what we want to do. I think I'll try just normal Klipper and see if that works. If normal Klipper won't go on here, because we're getting way too fancy, then we'll swap the pie. Because I feel like the pie is the issue here. We'll do normal Klipper and see if that takes. 14 hours. Yeesh. Yeah, so 14 hours was what it was for me going from Oklahoma to Rocky Mountain last year. Excuse me. And I had to stop halfway. Like, 7 hours in a car is about the max where I start to get antsy. And I just need to get out. I feel just captured. Don't like it. Don't like it at all. Get some two-way radios for between cars. And we could even do like trucker speak too. So it'd be like 10-4 codes all the way up there. And even better, Steve, what if we like live stream road tripped it? So we have like, we could leave days in advance and stop at like milestones along the way. We could see, you know, the world's largest ball of yarn and eat the world's biggest burrito and stuff like that. 16 hours with breaks. That's a lot of driving though. A lot of driving. We could do it, or we could fly in like 2 hours. Scope creep is quick with designs. Is scope creep a person? I'm not familiar with that. I feel like the way that, you know, in the context of reading that text, scope creep sounds like a person to me. Drive from Ohio to Houston, Texas, and back to Ohio? No, I'm good, Mike. I'm good. 12 hours to Murph and 2.5 to Rocky Mountain. Yeah, you're in a good spot. Flying's about 300-ish. Yeah, you're flying out of where? Bakersfield, Reth? Scope creep is Heart K. Okay. I felt like it was a person. I've just never heard of him referred to that. I'm out of the loop on the... Things move so quickly in the Discord community. It's difficult. Fresno? Okay, and Fresno is like 3.5 hours for me, 4 hours for me. So that might be a little better to drive to Fresno and get on a flight. But Burbank is only like 2 hours, 2.5 maybe. And it's about the same. So I need to look at it. I haven't seriously considered it. Although a caravan sounds pretty cool. It sounds like Steve's towing us in his RV trailer that he's going to connect to his Maverick. Yeah, because when he says caravan, that's what I think of. So Reth and I can be in the back, in the trailer, just playing Mario Kart and Smash Bros. While Steve's smashing through traffic in the Maverick. We could drive cheaper than 2 flights, but a lot of time. Yeah, it's always the conversation. What's your time worth? Okay, that one looked like it actually took. So maybe it's a problem with this pie just does not like Calico. So we're back on main Klipper right now. Is Voron Design going to be at Earth? I don't know. but Steve could maybe answer that question. Or maybe Reth could answer that question. I know there'll definitely be advice. It's their event, you know? And I really like Vice. I hope that that continues to go on every year, and I hope no booth, but you'll be there. Taylor will be there. So there you go. Canuck Creator will be there. And Steve will be there. I really hope that this thing expands and it continues on year after year, because Vice is a really cool event with, it's not all the, like a lot of the craziness and the openness of folks coming through, and you know, folks are there to make content, and which is great, and do interviews and see stuff and ask questions. Like all of that is fun, but that is one aspect of what you do. When you get to really connect human to human with other folks and pick their brains and learn from one another, it's more of a conference than it is an event or a festival, because it's more collaborative. And I really enjoyed it. So if you get a chance to go, anybody out of the 26 of you watching right now, if you get a chance to go to Vice, definitely recommend going. Update, sure. Let's do that too. Next year, you plan to take an RV so you can stay both days at Rocky Mountain and Murph. Maybe even Earth. That's cool. Yeah, I think we'll finally get there on this one, I hope. Yeah, so to answer, if Aaron is still here, I don't know that we're going to be able to do Calico on this one. I don't think the Pi can handle it. We've tried several times and restarting and removing Klipper, adding Klipper. This Pi just doesn't like Calico for whatever reason. So maybe when we do some updating on the electronics and stuff like that, we can update the Pi to something else and run Calico on it. But that's not going to be in the cards for today, unfortunately. Buddy offered his 42-foot pusher RV. That's a bus. One of my bosses had an RV. It wasn't the motor coach one. I'm not an RV guy, but whatever like the one size down from a motor coach was, he had one of those. And I remember like as soon as he swapped out, we swapped from my old boss to a new boss. As soon as he drove his RV to the event, and as soon as it was over and we did the whole ceremony and stuff and the swapping from one boss to the next, he goes out to the parking lot, jumps in the RV, and just takes off and takes the entire family on a week-long across the country vacation. Best quality of life move I think I've seen in a long time. It was so cool. All right, so that's not going to update. Let's see if we can install here. Yeah, that's awesome. Like, this guy was an amazing human. Smartest person I think I've ever met in person. He was that kind of guy that in the room, he already knew the answers to the questions that he was asking, most likely, and he could probably do those things on his own, but he's trusting you to do it. And so therefore he's allowing you to come up with your own solutions and answers to the things instead of always telling you or guiding you in his direction that he believes it should go. So it was a lot of room for ingenuity and change and doing things your own way, even though he kind of already knew the answer of how it was going to be. And I really appreciated that. Not only that, but he would take the time to share his methods, which for me, working hand in hand as the number two was amazing because I learned so much from that dude. And he had the most awesome life hacks and habit stacking patterns and work ethic out of a boss I've ever seen. So great leader. Yes, leader is the actual term. Great dude. Still text with him monthly right now. Hey, Petty, good morning. Petty, you're going to get here one day, and I'm going to have filament to give away. And maybe you win it. So I've been thinking about this, and this is actually Boothy's idea. But he recommended that because I have all of this filament behind me, chances are I'm not going to use it all. And all of this filament is brand new in the box filament. I need space. You guys want filament. Why not give some of this away? There's also another rack. So this is just two racks of filament here. There are 2 more of these over there. And then up top up here, I've got the rep rack of more filament. And so if I can rehome some of this stuff to you all, let's do it. So I think sometime between today and next week, we should probably do a giveaway. So you guys are helping me out, taking this off my hands, but I'm helping you out by allowing you to print more stuff. I don't have 285. I know that's what you like, but I don't have 285. You don't need filament giveaways to show up. I understand, but I feel like you should just change your YouTube name to Filament Winner or something like that. Giveaway God or something in that vein. But you reminding me of it. Boothie and I were talking behind the scenes about it, and it was a recommendation that he made. But I appreciate it. You don't need filament to be here, and that's awesome. I think out of the 26 of you, most of you come here every week with no expectation of getting anything, and that's awesome, and I appreciate you. But I think I'm in a place where we've cracked the 400 mark. So I am humbled that we even got there. But also you'd be helping me out. So why not? Petty, win the spin. I love it. Mike V, nope. Printer giveaway. I told you. So if we make 1,000, if this community helps me get to 1,000 subscribers, I will give away a printer. I said this on Lee Marie's stream 2 weeks ago. I'm saying it on this stream today. If we get to over 1,000 subs, I will give away a printer. Love the company. Good morning. Yay. You're on stream. Say hi. Get in here. Get in here. Hi. She's going skating.
It's so funny. It looks like a...
I know.
Whatever that is.
Aaron says hi.
Hello.
Give away a Phoenix? Aaron, I don't have a Phoenix. You just want to watch the streams. Havoc? Yep. It's a gigantic printer that you won't let me have. It's 4 times the size of anything in here. Maybe. But it's 4 times the size of anything that I have. It's 4 times one of them. Not for me. Then give it away to a college student. I'm a college student. I give it to myself. Havoc says hello. She says hello. She's not mic'd up, so I don't know if you guys can hear her or not. And we have some pretty extreme noise canceling going on. Hello. College students don't have space. You're not wrong. Love you, bye. She's going out to skate, so that's the point. But yeah, so back on the topic, right? I will definitely give away a printer if we get to 1,000. I'm not saying it's one out of the collection. Don't get me wrong. If your preference is to have a brand new in-the-box printer, we can work something out. If you seriously want one of the ones that I have here, we can arrange some sort of shipping. Then I will ship it to you. But trying to send a 350 Trident through the mail is a significant cost. So maybe not worth it. But if we get to 1,000, I will give away a printer. Spread the word. And I don't know if Phoenix is even a thing to be able to give away yet. Chaz says he hopes the number goes up. I do as well. Are you, Chaz, let me ask you a question. Are you the same Chaz that has the tricorn? If I say the word tricorn, does that ring a bell for you? That would not be easy. Yes, I agree. All right, so we got regular Klipper. Enough jabber-jawing here. Let's go into CD Klipper. The hot end, I don't own one, but I know Okano made it. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So you're familiar with the term. I just see the logo and I was like, man, that logo looks familiar to me. We need to do a make clean in here. And we're just going to install regular Klipper because Calico would not work for this. Come on. Make clean. That's just going to get rid of any config stuff that may be in there previously. And then we'll do a make menu config. Sweet. So we want to do that. I know it's an STM32. It's also a, looking at the chip on the board, it's a 446. That one. 32 sounds right. I think the clock reference is a 12. Let's go over to our Chrome to verify. All right, so 446, 32 with a 12. USBs on 11 and 12. So USB 11 and 12. We got the 12 thing there. Optimize. Yep, we're going to do that. And then there are no codes. So Q, Y to save, and then we can make. And so as that's going, I think I'm going to cruise through here. And it says as we're making it, it's going to make it as a firmware.bin. I hope. Anything else will be rejected. And then we have to put it on an SD card. Copy the binary, put it in the board, and then reset the board. Make sure it gets renamed to firmware.cur. Gonna make this a meme printer by adding an E3D Cyclops. If I were very good at things like Photoshop and all that, I would definitely make it a meme printer. I'm not good at the graphic design portion. I'm a very mechanical, hands-on kind of guy, and so some of that talent of digital design just escapes me. Okay, so the cool thing about MOBA Xterm, if you're not using this as your shell program, is that it has a built-in like SCP type thing, and so I can get in here and edit a lot of these things. Don't forget the googly eyes on the fan cover. I should. I don't have any googly eyes. I should ask the wife to pick some up for me from the Dollar Tree or something. You have an interest in making absurd printers? Aaron, so do I. Did you see my stream like 2 weeks ago? That one is pretty absurd. Klipper out. We made a Klipper.bin. Let's just refresh to make sure. We need to rename this firmware.bin. Actually, I think I'm gonna just download it first. Let's do that. Download this to my download folder. Okay. And it's good. And then I'm going to just rename that in my folder as firmware.bin. And we'll copy that to an SD card. So let me get that into the reader here. And 12 volt stuff like MakerBot clones. E3D big box build stream win. Aaron, that is before my time. Like, I've never owned a MakerBot or an E3D big box. Those bots look cool. They definitely do. And their Klipper machine looks pretty cool as well. They had it at Rocky Mountain last year's where they showed it off. Just again, in my opinion, it's very expensive for what it is. I don't know that I want to pay over $2,000 for a small-ish size, basically bed slinger printer that runs Klipper. It doesn't make a lot of sense in today's market, and so I can't justify it for myself. Copy that. We'll go to this PC and my drive. That Remurf printer this year was not printing great. That might have been their Klipper machine. I don't recall. I know I walked past it, but I was there with West 3D, and so a lot of my time was spent helping them out and being useful. And so I didn't get a lot of time to walk around, but I did get some. I visited with Nathan from Stone Wolf 3D, or Stone 3D, sorry, from Stone 3D, and talked about his Stone Wolf printer. And then I talked with the Hedamame guys and actually got a kit. That's what's in this box right up there. And go back. That's what's in that box up top there. And then I talked with a few other folks about things and stuff. For Lulzbot, yeah. E3D Cyclops. I haven't even seen one of those in so long. But this would be the printer to do it on if you want to get weird. My SD card is not reading for whatever reason. Let me try a different reader here. Got it. Okay. Why is it just... Yeah, it's not reading my SD card for some reason. Do it? Where does a person even find a Cyclops these days? I don't know that you can find them on E3D's site anymore, can you? KB3D? They have a Cyclops? That's wild. But then you need 2 extruders, right? Or at least 2 Bowden extruders? Maybe, hear me out. Maybe we can remove the BMG on this and put another one, like a mirrored one, on the backside and just have it be Bowden and do it that way. But then again, like, you're dealing with that whole two-handed nozzle situation where you have to hold the block and tighten the nozzle and get things straight and square, right? Dude, this thing is not reading this SD card at all. We're just having all sorts of challenges today. No? Okay. Again, I'm not familiar with the Cyclops. I know I've only seen it, and I know that it's... Okay, it's a 2-in, 1-out. Okay, so that's like the Tai Chi then. The Fetus Tai Chi. What if we just did a Tai Chi? The same kind of thing. It's a little more compact, I think, than the E3D one. It would save some space on the already tight tool head. And then I know that Chirpy made a dragon burner type design for the Tai Chi. I think it's called Rainbow Dragon. Way more compact. Okay. I know you guys aren't really seeing what I'm working on here, but I'm trying to get this SD card to register in the computer, and it is not. So I'm going to try a different SD card. Because I don't know why this is not working. I've tried 2 different SD card now. None of them want to come up. What happens when you use 2 different tricolor filaments of the Tai Chi hot end? No clue. I've never used either one. Either the Cyclops or the Tai Chi. Don't even own one. And I have a drawer full of hot ends down here. None of them are mixing hot ends like that. The closest thing I have to like a mixing hot end is the H2D with 2 nozzles on it. What is happening? Nothing wants to read my SD card. So I have a smaller 8 gig that I'm trying to use, and then I have a larger 32 gig, I believe, that I'm trying to use, and neither one wants to show up on my PC. Please insert a disk into the USB drive. So strange, it won't. Okay, so we that take it out, put it back in. Because it's showing up, but it doesn't register the drive. Okay, I know there's DFU mode. It is. Yeah. I mean, we made the stuff. He said I have to. I think I can just put the jumper on, right? I don't need to turn power off, because if I do that, I'm gonna lose high power. So I'll tell you what. I think I have enough charge to unplug from this mic. If we do lose audio again, let me know, because I don't have the mobility to reach the printer all the way with this thing plugged in. But we should have enough charge now to do it. So I'm just gonna throw this jumper on the boot pin. We'll click the reset button, and I guess I'll take you back to the machine itself. Yes, you have to power off the octopus. Dang it. I'll tell you what. Let me swap power sources then. So I've got pretty long cable here. 1 second. That I can use to power the Pi. Oh, that's a weird cord. That's a micro. So this thing is so old that it doesn't even take a USB-C. So we need a micro SD cable. And so I can remove. Yeah, so I can power it here, because right now it's getting power from the octopus. And that'll allow me to power off the octopus without having to worry about powering off the Pi. I just don't know if I have a micro USB cable, because everything that we use now is USB-C. And all of the main boards that I've purchased in the last 2 years have a USB-C. This is not going to work. And that's not right. Yeah, I feel like I don't even have. Here we go. This will work. I think that's correct. Yeah, that'll work. I've got one cable. Hey, Clown Hammer, to the junk drawer. Yeah, that's what I was just digging through. Like all of the cables down here in the drawer below me. So this is the correct one. This is literally the only USB micro that I even have. I think I've gotten rid of all of the rest. And now it's like just barely not long enough. So I got to move the machine some inches this way to be able to reach. Let's see. Let me move this camera out a little bit. Zoom you out so I don't get like too deep in your face. Move this one back a few more inches, and hopefully that gives us enough room to reach. Like barely. It's gonna be a stretch. Don't judge me. That's pretty tight. Let's see. A little more room there to maneuver, and I'll try to relieve the strain on that cable a little bit. Okay, so we'll do that. And I need to, you said power off the, so I should have power to the Pi itself. I believe that's connected. Move it. Reinsert it just in case we like tweaked it while trying to relocate this thing. All the chance it can to have as little stress as possible. That should be powered, and now when I power this off, I should stay on. But I'm seeing a lot of other lights still on the octopus. Let me move you guys down a little bit. It's still got power to the octopus for some reason. I wonder if it's because of this USB-C here. Let's remove that. Or maybe take this out. It's still getting power somehow. The LEDs are on. I don't know if those are residual or what, but unless it's getting power from the Pi itself, maybe. Take that off. And we've removed the power wire from the... There's another one there. So power's off on the Pi. Lights go out. Cool. We got what we want. Pi is still going. Now we can just... You're saying hold, reset, jumper's in place. That's the red jumper here. That's hard to see, but I put that red jumper on. Power on. I've got the reset button held. Power on the octopus. And technically that should put us into DFU mode, according to Mr. Projects in Dad's Garage. Now let's see if we can get it back. So let's see. LS. Come on, baby. LS dev serial by ID. Let's see what else. Add the Pi power back on. To make sure we are getting all of the Pi stuff as we need. Oh, did I put that in the wrong spot? I think I did. Let's do it this way. Nothing. If we do LS USB, nothing. Maybe I have just the wrong. Okay. Over to Klipper. The install and config, install, and let's see. Okay, so do all that. Klipper, make menu config. We did all that. This is the code we need. So I was just typing it in. Do that, nothing. CD, do that, nothing. So it's not seeing anything in DFU mode. So I don't know if that's going to work for us. Hit reset now. You don't hold reset while powering on. You hit it after. Okay, so hit it now. And right again. Come on. It's just really laggy. It's not really picking it up. And we're almost at the 3-hour mark. LS USB. Okay. Has to flash over USB. So then let's plug in the USB. Now we're there. All right. So LS USB. There she is. I would have gotten there eventually, but thanks for the shortcut. Projects in Dad's Garage. So used to doing it the other way that I've not done USB and wow. Okay, we've got the code now. So, how do we flash this? I don't remember the stuff. So, should report something like that. Happy to help. Thanks. Yeah. I know that I need to do like a make flash here, something, but I don't remember this second half part, the flash device part of it. And let me see. Maybe it's on this side. I don't know that Klipper itself talks you through how to do that. Oh, come on. Maybe one of these other... That's the hard part for me, is figuring out the Linux stuff. I'm trying to look at, a different example for a different motherboard and seeing how the flash process works for that. I think we should probably just do the Big Tree Tech docs here. And do... No, I think one of these will work. I think it talks about it in this documentation somewhere. Camera stuff. Do the things. Klipper, config, SD card. Yeah, it's just not. It wants you to use the SD card. Update using DFU. Here we go. But again, it wants me to list it by serial ID. So I just feel like I need to. Okay, let's go to Klipper. Try that. Still not there. So it's in DFU mode. I'll tell you what. I know that I can do this with EAL. Now that it's in DFU mode. So if I go to this one and I use flash only, it definitely make it easy, but it is not as straightforward on this particular board because the way we had to boot or whatever, and it's not clearly described on how to do that process. So thanks for the help in the chat. We want to flash only, so I'm gonna use option 2. We're gonna do regular flashing method. Probably make flash, that's the default way. Number 3, it's going to be USB and DFU mode. That is the listed MCU. That is correct. And default action is yes. Of course, it wants the password. So looks like it's going. Question mark. There it goes. We should have things talking to one another. I know now that I need the probably the what's it called, the printer config updated with the new MCU ID. So we'll do that. It's on option 3 here, DFU mode, and they're not seeing it. So we flash. Let's take it out of DFU mode by doing a reset real quick. Check number 3. Oh, it's still got the boot pin on it. Let's take the pin off. So we'll go back. Boot pin off. Now we can do a reset here on the board, and we'll type in number 3. Still not seeing it. Come on, Pi. Let's see. Let's go to number 1, maybe. There she is. We're gonna copy this. I have already, in my file explorer, I have the config that was loaded on this machine as of yesterday. So we did back that up, as Aaron suggested. Where did I put it though? Here. Extract. And I can just copy in the USB stick. Oh man, these flies are back. They're about to die today. Okay. All right, so we should be able to get into the Pi now. So what I'm going to do is take it to Chrome. And we'll see if we can get into the Pi. Should be the same as before. Go to our SKCube.local. Come on, baby. She's a little slow. Okay. Come over to machine. All of our stuff is here from before. We can do a refresh on the update. Maybe that will give us some changes here, but our printer config is the same. The same serial as I had before. Nothing changed, even though we flashed new information onto it. And so that should all be good to go. We are connected. No, we're not. Device. What do we have from USB? It is seeing our board. Did I get everything flashed? I think so. It pulled up. Gave me the USB ID. I think we got everything flashed. I mean, we're seeing it here in the device tab. With the serial number. And it is in our printer config here. Just not talking to one another. So I think maybe updating Klipper. And we'll work on this for another 30 minutes or so and see if we can get it there. And then if we can, we'll try to make it move and that thing. USB ID will still be the same. Yeah. Yep. It is the same from before. I think we got it flashed. It's just not talking, but it's also not yelling at me that it cannot connect. So that's the thing. So I'm feeling like it's not connected, but I also have no way to verify that. Error updating, progress failed. That's unfortunate. Okay, what's going on up here? Previously undervolted. Okay. So I'll probably need to add an additional power supply or something like that. I do have a 5-volt power supply for things like this. We can update sonar at least. Yeah, so it looks like even though it says that it failed, it did update Klipper to a newer version. At least we're on 13 now, whereas before we were on 12 something. So that's cool. Why are we not updating? There we go. Moonraker cannot connect to Klipper. If the service is running... Oh, Moonraker config. I don't know. Sure. That was from when it was plugged in via USB cable and it was trying to power the octopus. Yeah, I figured as much. I'm not worried about that one, so we just dismissed it and it's fine. Not worried about it. Let's see if this... Yeah, it can't connect here, so maybe we restart Klipper somewhere. I don't even see that as an option. Definitely need to update Klipper again. Let's see if this works. Yeah, I really feel like I need to swap this Pi out. Probably give it a dedicated power supply as well. I mean, there's some room to be able to do that. Have you tried turning it off and back on? No, I haven't. Not yet. Not yet. But we can do that now. That was going to be my next step. I wanted to get us up to date, and it looks like we are. So I think I want to do a reboot here on the whole thing, and we'll see how that shakes out. In the meantime, what are we thinking as far as how we should update this? Try using a band hammer. What are we thinking as far as how to update this thing? Obviously, we're going to need a better Pi solution. What about mainboard? Should we do a Leviathan on here? Which is probably a little overkill because that thing can handle 48 volt. There's obviously nothing wrong with the board that we have in it currently. But to keep things more compact, a Leviathan would do it, and a what am I trying to say here? A Manta would do it as well. I do need 1, 2, 3, 4. I need a 6 pin board. Octopus Pro is fine. Yeah, but what's the Pro gain me that this board doesn't have? I don't plan to run high voltage. I'm just looking for things to be a little more compact, a little more easy. I know that there's a Manta 5. There's also a Manta 4, but at minimum we would have 5 motors. So we could probably get away with a Manta 5 and then just use a tool headboard. That would clean up some of the wiring as well. So this wire stack here would go down to just a CAN cable. So this would go down to a CAN cable. And I have a, I know that through this RJ45 port, you can use a CAN adapter to make that work. What do I have on hand? Let's see, actually. That's a good question. I have on hand in my stash, I've got, this is interesting. So talking about old school, I've got, this is a Kinetica G2C controller. The footprint is for a Ender 3, but this runs rep firmware. Not enough motor ports on this one though. These two are tied together, so that would not do the job. I've also got several mellow boards. I do have, what is this one? This is a, this is just in my spares drawer over here. This is a Manta M8P version 1. So this version 1 may work, and that just keeps things, you know, very much more compact and give me a use for this. Again, I was kind of holding on to this one for something else that I'm working on behind the scenes, but you know, if it makes sense here, then it makes sense. I do have an Octopus Pro. I've got, like I said, several different mellow boards we could use. Here's another. This is another M8P that we could use. Let's see. Yeah. So this is a version. I think that's also a version 1 new in the bag that we could use. It does have a CB1. 4988s, no thank you. Although it's kind of cool that you can make them sing. So we got that, and there's an Octopus Pro down here that I could use. I think that's what's in here. Yeah, so that one's in there with some 5160s already slated to be used. But again, this one has way too many drivers that would just be overkill for this machine. I would still need a separate Pi. So I really just want to bring things under one umbrella and use an integrated solution. So that's why I'm thinking like Leviathan or a Manta. I've got Manta on hand, and I don't have a Leviathan on hand, so it may end up being a Manta. But what are we thinking about toolhead? Like what hot end should go? The remix I made is designed for a it's designed with the dragon pattern so that we could do Rapido, which I've got one spare over there, and then also a dragon. So I've got a spare dragon that was slated for this that I never got around to doing, but then also I found this also a little bit dusty. I found this, and it's a upgrade kit from Creality that has been around for a while, but it comes with a dragon in here. So this is a brand new kit. There's a dragon. It has 50-15 fan and a 40-10 fan. You just need to add a tool head to it. But I found this while I was going through stuff for the Seckit, so maybe we could use that. Print an enclosure for the board. Yeah, Cybertech. So I don't know if you were here yet. We had talked about maybe doing a rat rig style backpack for this. I think that'll clean all this up too. But we got to get things compact and kind of choose our adventure here. I do really like this. I spent a lot of time remixing this to fit, and we did cut a plate for it as well to swap out. So this will mount together on there. You have an orbiter 2 on top, and then a dragon or a Rapido in here. And so doing all that together, I think that was the initial plan. That's what I've been planning for like the last, I don't know, 2 years. Just haven't gotten around to it. But dragon burner would be cool. I've got a Rapido Ace I could use. Took a nap. Use that kit. Nice kit. Yeah, I mean, this is a older machine. I feel like a dragon would fit great in here with a cartridge heater. I mean, we've got it on hand and we got to use it for something, so why not this thing? And who knows, if we give away a printer, maybe one of you guys will take this home. Cool, let's check on where we are over here. Okay, Moonraker doesn't want to play nice today. Let's see. Unauthorized. Don't even know what that means. Anybody seen that before? That's weird. See if we need to do an update on something over here. Is there a Moonraker update or something like that? Maybe we uninstall and reinstall Moonraker. 2 update. Yeah, I think I'm ready for a nap here in a second. Yeah, mainsail's good to go. Doesn't seem like there's a mainsail client. And then Moonraker seems like it needs to be updated according to this. See if we can do that. And hopefully that'll allow us to talk. Excuse me. This camera keeps trying to follow me around. I don't know why. Update the Pi? Yeah, we probably should. But it's telling me that there are no upgrades available for it here. But we could do that here in a second. It doesn't look like that. I mean, it looks like it worked, but it doesn't look like Yao accepted it or whatever. Let's see. What version of Raspberry Pi OS is it on? I have no clue. No idea. But yeah, these don't seem to be like updating or whatever. But we could do that. So that's a good tip. I did not think about it. So it's let's see. I'm trying to remember what it's called. F. I go to Kiao. I know it tells me on there. I just don't remember. What? You're talking about this stuff here? Projects in Daz Garage? Doing this one. The sudo git apt. Live adjust Z. Try leveling the bed. Yeah, I don't have my leveling balls out today. I left them over there. Oh, but I did get something courtesy of Double T, so I'll show you this one real quick while that's installing. These are some of the parts for the build we're currently doing. Move this charging cable out of the way. If you guys remember back from the Inertia Cube about a month or so ago, we printed idler adjustment, so belt tensioners. Double T reached out and got us some CNC'd versions of those tensioners. So on the all-wheel drive, these will go on those front two motors, and they're threaded here on the end. So as you tighten in, it'll pull those motors in, screw down the motors a little bit to increase the tension, and then that's how we're going to tension our belts. So shout out to him for sending these beautiful bits of tensioner over. Really excited about putting that on the machine. Still getting skipping on the belts though, and I don't fully understand why yet. So maybe taking it apart and looking at it again will help us out. Help us figure out what's going on with that. But essentially what happens anytime I try to home or do any sort of quick movement, it causes the motors to skip. So it's losing steps. And I don't know why that's happening. An 8-foot level when you level your bed. I don't think the new version of Klipper works with that. I think you have to have bullseye. Works with what? Some pretty parts? Yeah. Yeah, I asked him, I was like, why didn't we just get whole motor mounts that are CNC'd and do the whole thing? Let's see, Buster. Yeah, maybe I don't know what version I'm on. You have to update to the new version of Pi OS. Yes, probably. That's probably why I couldn't install Calico too. Which is another reason to just update the Pi if I got to go through all that. Yeah, because otherwise, to update to the new OS, I'm going to have to pull the SD card and flash a new image and go through all that rigmarole to get it where it needs to be. Not really excited to do that today. Plus, we're almost at the 3-hour mark, so it doesn't work. What doesn't work, though? Are you saying Klipper doesn't work with the old version of Pi OS? Or Moonraker? It's just hard to follow what you're saying in the chat. I mean, it makes sense that this stuff won't update because it's just so old. Yeah. Yeah, to which one? Yeah, to Klipper or yeah, to Moonraker? But I think I'm getting what you're saying. These here, Klipper, yeah, these here are only going to update to a certain point, and that's what we're running into. And maybe that's why it's not connecting like it should be. Because if I come back in here and try to refresh, I'm getting unauthorized. I know when my wife flashes me, I tend to work better. Yeah. But if you remember, just to like 10 minutes ago, my computer, for whatever reason, is not recognizing SD cards right now. So trying to flash an SD card, it's being silly. I think I'm going to have to restart the whole printer or something. Or the whole machine. And I don't want to do that. Klipper 13 needs a newer OS. Yeah. It probably does. That's one of the things we should probably do. I don't have an issue doing it right now, but we are getting close to the end of the stream. And I need to be on time today. I got to go do homework for school. So I can't extend this one out too much longer. So I think what we'll do is we'll probably wrap. This is one of the challenges of trying to do this thing live when you are refreshing an old machine. So you're going to run into stuff like this where you need an entirely new OS. You're going to have to flash SD cards with new images and all the things and stuff. But yeah, my computer needs to be restarted, and I can't continue to stream with restarting the printer, or sorry, restarting the machine. So I think we'll go ahead and cut it about 15 minutes early, 13 minutes early, something like that, and give you 13 minutes back on your weekend. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Steve Builds is up next at 10 o'clock. Yeah, actually, he's been live for 3 minutes. So if I was able to just raid you guys over, I would do so. My channel is not big enough to be able to do that. So hopefully in the future, with your help, we'll be able to get there. Thanks to all 417 or whatever the number is that have subscribed. We'll be back here next week. I'll get all this firmware stuff figured out. So we'll print a little bit next week and see where the baseline machine is right now. And then we'll talk about some upgrade paths and stuff like that. And maybe we'll get some upgrades on it, okay? So thanks for hanging out today for 3 hours talking about things and stuff in life. It's good to be back after a week off. Appreciate all of you. Enjoy your weekends. We'll talk later on Sunday. Bye.